Okay, good morning. Reish Chaf Aleph, a short simon. Birchas Haidas Hageshamim. That bracha that you make to thank HaKadosh Baruch Hu when it begins raining. Says the Mechaber, Im hoyu b'tza'ar machmas atziras geshamim. If the people were in distress because it wasn't raining, v'yardu geshamim, then it begins to rain. Mevarchim aleim, there's a special bracha to make. Afal pisha le'yardu adayin kadei revi, even though it hasn't sort of rained its full quota. In other words, Mishiyadu kol kach she'roba la'aretz, that it's so much rain has fallen that it's saturated the ground. Sheyalu aleihem ababuos min hamotov v'yelchu ze likra zeh, that sort of the water is sort of, the ground is so saturated that when the rain falls, the water is sort of bouncing up from the ground and they come to sort of meet each other. Says the Ramah, Mashein on noegim bizman hazeh, b'birchas hageshamim. Why we're not noeg nowadays in birchas hageshamim mishum de medinas elu tedirim b'geshamim. Because, says the Ramah, living in a very wet Poland, it's raining the whole time. Ve'enim netzarin kol kach. I can vouch for this. Last Shabbos I was in Krakow. We were davening in the Ramah, daven mincha, Shabbos mincha in the Ramah shul. It was by his kever erev Shabbos. Shabbos afternoon, the heavens opened and it poured. So I fully understand what he's talking about. Says the Mishnah Berurah, Sif Cotton Aleph, Im hoyu b'tza'ar, Efshet be'eretz Yisrael, shemotzu sham yovesh gadol. Maybe, says the Mishnah Berurah, in Eretz Yisrael, where it's very dry, sheboim gesham, eis geshamim, v'ageshem yered bizmanu, kol echot tzomech, where everyone is very, very happy when the rains, you speak to Eretz Yisrael, and they tell you it's raining, it's, when the first rains happen, it's a big simcha. Afilu b'stam tzarech levarech parmishin kasher, l'chayr, you got to bench, you got to make the bracha the first time it rains. That if it just rains the next day, then maybe you don't. Then in that situation, maybe you won't make on the subsequent days. Mashma dafilu b'pam rishon ein tzarich levarech k'shashonim mesudaris k'tikunon v'ayim v'alacha. That he says in a regular year you don't need to make the bracha the first time it rains. Ve'enum netzarin kol kach. So this is going on. The Ramah says that we're not noeg to make the bracha of geshamim because in our countries, says the Ramah speaking in Poland, tedirim geshamim ve'einin netzarin kol kach. We haven't really got issues with lack of rain. Says the Mishnah Berurah, Sif Cotton Beis Rotzolema ve'ein lam simcha b'yudas hageshamim ve'enochanami afilu beis naras shirugin b'motin netzra geshamim. But indeed, if there was a drought, even in normally rainy places, then indeed you would make a bracha. Base. What is the bracha that you make for birchas geshamim? If you don't own real estate, you haven't got a field which is going to get saturated. I guess it means even if you own a house, but it means if you've got a field with a crop in it. Then you say, if ein lo soda, if you haven't got a field, mevarich, Omer, you say the following: on every drop that came down. If our mouths were as full as there's the ocean, etc. And if you do own a field, in partnership with somebody else, and if you don't have a shutuf in the field, says the Ramah, okay, says the Mishnah Berurah, Sif Cotton Gimel, with immense gratefulness. Then you make hatova metiv. Why? It's good for you, and you've been mative to other people as well. To your partner, your business partner. Because it's benefited others. That's why they say that when you buy a new car and you're very happy about it, you make a bracha of shechionu. But if you're using the car for other people, that means for rota or things like that, or if it's a family car, ishul bonim, then you can make hatova metiv, which is exactly what the Mishnah Berurah is saying over here. V'im ein loy shutuf basoda. If there is no shutuf in the soda, says the Mishnah Berurah, Sif Cotton Hey, hareya nilus kashel cotton. If a person sees the River Nile in its very early stages, in other words, in a small sort of part of the Nile, and then he sees he sees it where there's less water in it, and then he sees a very abundant Nile. For Somach Birosin, he's very happy because that's going to saturate the whole land. Mevarich shechionu. Then he can make the shechionu after ein lo karka, even if it doesn't have karka. Kivun duba bizman lezman, because it comes from the sort of periodically. And he is happy when he sees it. No different. You haven't seen a good friend in a long time. You make shechionu. But if you see this person, if you see the Nile every day, after B'yom Zen even though yesterday's water level was a bit lower and it's increasing each day, why? The kama bottle benahar, because each day the little extra water in the nahar is not really going to make a difference. What is that? It's like a sort of a river which is which is connected somehow to the larger river of the Nile. In if you already saw the water in the Nile, but if you only see it for the first time now and you haven't seen the Nile, then because people are happy about that as well. Okay, levad it's either or. Even if you have a non-Jewish shutuf partner, he's not considered a partner in this respect. Zayin so a person hears good news that rain has fallen, then you can make hatova meitiv. Rotzolema says the Mishnah Berurah Sif Katan Zayin, af shelo ba'atzma, even if you didn't actually see it yourself, but shama me'acheim sheyardu, you just heard about it, basodeh sheloi achatzira, that you heard that it's raining in a place where your field is, then you can make the bracha. V'chanal gamkein shaykh birchas hatova meitiv. That's when you own your field with partner. If you own it alone, then mevarich shechionu and not hatova meitiv. But if you don't own a field with an orchard or with crops or whatever that is going to be benefiting from the rain, ein mevarich klal, which I think is you and I, right? That's why we're not so familiar with this bracha. Va'afilu birchas moedim hanal, the bracha zu lo niskana ala berei ba'atzmai v'lo b'shameh. That's only if a person sees it properly with himself and not with if he just hears about it. V'shitz mukubetz is masim b'seif dvarov. De'ein chiluk klal ben roeh l'shameh v'yochel dvarach birchas moedim afilu b'shameh u'mekol makom near the sofik brachas lahakel. If you're not sure, then sofik brachas lahakel.
Just ask, why is it when you have a daughter?
Yeah, so when it's a good question. So when you have a girl, you make a shechionu. When you have a boy, it's hatova meitiv. I don't know. I haven't got a good answer. Shechionu is on the simcha, so that is understandable. Why a boy? I guess because a boy is more, certainly in days gone by, is more out there in society and is going to be meitiv for other people and is going to be out and about and be more contributing to the society in which he lives. So l'chayra, therefore, it's meitiv achirim, mistoma. But that's the halacha taken nowadays. Yeah. Okay.